Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome to Gratitude Happy Hour. Give us just a moment here. Oh, there I am.
There you are. Yes.
Welcome, welcome. We are doing a very special Gratitude Happy Hour today. We're going to do a masterclass on manifesting. And I'm so excited to be here doing this for everyone. And it's going to be an interactive class. So whether you are here on the Zoom where you can actually speak with us, or you're in the audience, we want your participation. So what are we doing here today? We are talking about manifesting. What I would like to know is, when was the first time you heard about manifesting? Did you hear that word and think, oh, wait, what do I think about that? What do I know about that? So where did you first hear about the practice of manifesting? We want to know. So type it in the chat. If you're in the Zoom, you have a chat box and you can type it in there. If you're in our audience watching us live on the many places that we're streaming right now, you can type it in there and I will be able to see your comments. So let's get this party started. Have you ever had an instant connection with someone and you just know that that person is going to be instrumental in your life in a lot of ways, that they're going to be a huge part of your life? Well, I want to tell you about a dear friend, a mentor, a co-creator that I have connected with. I connected with her through a mutual friend, and I'm so glad I did. I remember that first phone call when I spoke with her on the phone. I loved her voice. I loved her energy. And I just knew that I needed to talk to her. I didn't want to hang up the phone that very first time that I spoke with her. And she was so delightful, and just we hit it off immediately. I knew I was supposed to meet with her in person, and I did. And it was just a delight to meet her, to see that she was the same in person that she was on the phone, and that her persona was just amazing. I call her the little tornado. And if you ever get the chance to meet her in person, you're going to know why I say that. She's so full of energy, possibility, and dreams. I knew that she was a local TV personality. I knew that she had written best-selling books, the Tao of Numbers and the Year of Living Miraculously. I knew that she was a well-known and well-respected numerologist. And I was honored that she wanted to co-create with me. And we've created many things over the last few years. And I remember she spoke at an event that I did. And I remember handing her the mic and just watching the crowd and watching them respond to her, because that's her personality. There's so much charisma there, but there's so much love there for wanting to share and wanting other people to get it, to understand what she brings out in her teachings, in her mentoring, her coaching. She's an amazing individual. And I'm presenting to you Miss Michele Landers. Welcome, Michele.
Wow, Teri, that is quite an introduction. Thank you so much for that. And I can almost just verbatim, repeat that to you, because I remember when we first met. And what I remember most about Teri is her light energy. It was almost as if, really, it's like she was floating off the ground. And I felt like, oh my God, I want to be around this energy more. And there was a soft-spoken energy about Teri that still always seems to calm me down, because yeah, I can be a little bit like a tornado at times. So, being around Teri's energy is just, there's something that just is all encompassing. And from the time that I met Teri as well, I was really impressed with everything that she was doing, all her knowledge. It goes on for pages, honestly, all the things that Teri knows, all the things that Teri has done. And what attracted me most, besides this all-encompassing, beautiful energy, was her heart. Her heart was so open that you felt like you could crawl right into it, and it would just comfort you and embrace you and love you. And so we connected on a really deep soul level. And we started doing some workshops and we did some other things together. And Teri is always, always looking to bring peace to the world. I mean, that's a very ambitious goal, but I know that Teri can do it. And just to prove that, Teri is the peace campaign coordinator for WE, and the founder of a nonprofit organization called Angel Speakers. She is an energy healer. She has amazing messages that she's delivered. I mean, she was at my house a number of times, and I've brought in an audience, and she had just absolutely wonderful information to share with people. And the one other thing that I love about Teri is she delivers it all in a very gentle, loving way, always with the intention, not from an ego place ever, but always from the space of wanting to uplift and honor and support people. And when I talk about Teri, it almost brings tears to my eyes, because that's how loving, she is. So Teri is a happiness coach and an energy healer, and she is a best-selling author, a spiritual teacher. And I know that she said that I am her mentor, but she's certainly my mentor as well. Motivational speaker. And Teri also offers so many different workshops, and I would suggest that you guys, always check out Enlightened World Living, and Enlightened World Network, Enlightened World Living, because every single day, Teri is on in the morning offering these beautiful meditations and just allowing people to communicate with her and with one another and sharing thoughts and ideas. That is some kind of commitment. That really is. And she comes from the heart, and she does this consistently. So everything that Teri does involves uplifting people, events that are centered around environmental awareness, which is so important right now, which includes not just nature, but animals, peace advocacy, and ancient wisdom teachings, which I love to hear about. There's always something new that Teri can share with me. And on another more materialistic note, she shares with me all the time, and she's so patient with me on what to do with my computer. So she's like my technical advisor as well. But I love her movement, PEAS, PEAS, for peace. And it just involves strengthening our awareness of the oneness of all. And hopefully everyone on this Zoom link tonight understands that we're all we're all in this together. And her belief and her motivation and her mission is unifying mankind through compassion, peace, love, joy. And she was named She Who Blesses the Sacred Land during the Peace on Earth tour. And she embraces that title with loving grace. So I am overjoyed to be sharing this space with Teri this evening, and all of you. And Teri, you're a blessing in my life and so many people's lives. So thank you for doing this together.
Oh, thank you, Michele. Oh my gosh. This is so awesome to be here with you. So
I agree, both of us.
We asked everybody a question, and oh my gosh, you blessed my heart and you made me cry. I want you to know. But the reason that we did this was we want you all to get to know us, because Michele and I have some plans. We have some grand plans, and we're going to get into that. But we're here today to talk about manifesting and to do this masterclass very interactively with you. So one of the first things that we started off with was that question: where did you first hear about manifesting? And we do have some answers. Michele, I was trying to remember myself. Where the heck did I first hear about manifesting?
Interesting.
Do you remember? Can you think of a
Yes.
time that you didn't know what it was?
Yes, I do. And I do want to share that because it was very significant. And oh gosh, it probably was in it must have been 70s. And I heard about someone named Shakti Gawain. And she wrote a book called Creative Visualization. That's simple. And I was so taken by it. I was really taken by it and amazed by it. And at that point in my life, I was in a very, linear job in the medical field. And this was different. And I do operate right and left brain, but this was really different. So it challenged me, but it was my soul was calling me to do this. And of course, in the workshop that we are going to do on the 22nd, I'm going to share more about and have pictures of what I actually manifested from the time. So it was Shakti Gawain that turned me on, and it was just amazing. So how about you, Teri? When was the first time you heard of it or thought, wow, this is really interesting?
I think it was about 35 years ago, Michele. I started getting more involved in meditation and understanding what meditation was all about and how to go deeper. And some of the guided meditations that I would be involved in with the group of people I was meditating with live in person had to do with manifesting, with thinking about what you want and bringing that to reality. And then years later, I discovered Abraham Hicks and started listening to the channelings of Abraham and the law of attraction and the secret and all that stuff that really brought it into the spotlight for us. So for me, it started a long time ago and then really developed more as I grew my spiritual self into what do I want? How do I want this life to look for me? Right. And so I think it's so interesting just to look back and see how we got here to where we are. And that's why with the ones that are here with us today, we ask you all that question. Where did you first hear about it? And Gail is with us, and she said Unity Church a long time ago. That's awesome. Kathleen said probably by Louise Hay in the 1980s.
Oh, wow, right.
Deirdre said Natalie Ledwell's Mind Movies in 2014.
Wow.
I'm going to have to check that one out, Deirdre.
I don't know that one.
Sharon is here, and she said 2008 at my job at a nonprofit, just learning about spiritual things. Wow. Brookie's with us and says, I believe it was The Secret audiobook that introduced me to manifesting. I'm thinking that's going to be a lot of us, that's what was prominent to bring it forward for us.
Well, the interesting thing about The Secret is it had such a widespread impact on the world, on people who didn't know about this. And I think it was great. It was a great introduction. My challenge with the movie was that it focused mainly on material acquisitions. And believe me, I love material acquisitions and I love money. It's not that I'm against it or don't like it because I do. I really enjoy it. And I realized after The Secret that, and that's really what prompted me, one of the things that prompted me to write The Year of Living Miraculously, because I knew from all the years that I had, after I had first read Shakti Goen's book, Creative Visualization, and things were happening for me, but I started doing certain things based on all of the readings that I've done, because, it's a bigger story for me and it's a bigger story for you. But at some point I fell down the rabbit hole and I realized there was so much more to this creative visualization and a vision board, more than just one book could deliver. And they were all great, but putting them together in certain steps and doing certain things really just skyrocketed my ability to manifest. And so I think that it's really important to share that. I think The Secret was really, I think it was really great, but I just think it focused mainly on material things. And what we want to manifest, I'll speak for myself, but I believe this is something that we all want, is we want a rich, abundant life on all levels, not just the material things. And I've heard people say, well, there are people who manifest and, I don't think that they're very good people. But you know what? First of all, that's none of our business. That's number one. But number two, just because you can manifest billions of dollars doesn't mean that the rest of your life is in sync or in harmony or full of love. And that's what we're going for here, right? We want to manifest on all levels. And I believe that can be done.
Absolutely, Michele. And it's called balance.
It's called balance. Yeah, right.
Exactly. And that's where we're hoping to lead everyone through this class and through the workshop where we're actually going to create vision boards.
So do you want to dive into some of the steps, or did we have something else we wanted to talk about first?
I just wanted to share, Jean said she heard it from her sister-in-law, Meg. That's awesome. And I think that was all the one. Oh, Stacy said the law of attraction is where I heard about it like 15 years ago. So thank you all for those comments. We are going to have you be a lot interactive. That's bad grammar, but anyway, you get what I'm saying. You are going to be talking, and it's not just going to be me and Michele talking. So we want to just thank you. I was just checking to see if anybody on Facebook or anywhere else was sharing theirs, and Julie Kiss is with us and said yes on all levels. And Joanne Castillo, hello. So we're all, I think, pretty much in agreement, Michele. We want to be abundant in all levels.
We do, right? So how do we start this going? How do you begin? We have 3 steps that we want to share, and both Teri and I are going to talk a little bit about each step from our perspective and what has worked for us. So I believe the number 1 step is that you really need to have an acute awareness of what you are doing that is consistently moving you forward or consistently holding you back. So what are you putting out there? And I guess most people have heard this over and over again, but it is really critical. Where is your energy going every day? Because I'm going to tell you, if you're meditating daily and you're saying affirmations and you're eating healthy food, but if you're raging on the inside about something that happened 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago or 20 years ago, or you're having negative thoughts about your life, about your relationship with other people, if you're out there and everybody is an a-hole, or you're annoyed with the salesperson, or you're annoyed with the waiter, or you're angry, I've got to tell you, you're just clogging up your pipeline to the divine. And that's how I see how we get messages, how we get inspiration, how we get this knowing to do certain things, and how we receive that abundance is through this pipeline. It's like an artery. So if an artery is clogged with plaque, the blood is not going to be able to flow through. And I do feel that it's the same way with our divine connection. If it's clogged up with these negative thoughts or feelings, it's going to stop you from being able to receive all your good, all your abundance. Now, is that challenging to do? Of course it's challenging to do. Are you going to be able to do it 100%? I doubt that, because if you could, you probably would not be here right now. We all have our lessons to learn. But if you shift just a little bit, you start shifting those thoughts by either saying things like cancel, clear, or whatever it is, if you can catch yourself and start minimizing those little nagging thoughts that go through your head, I am telling you, because I know from my own personal experience, it will shift things. And of course, we have a lot more to talk about that on Saturday, but I know that you had some things too, Teri, you wanted to share about that thought.
Absolutely. So, like Michele is saying, we have to have the awareness first. It has to begin there. And those of you that are with me on the daily show understand when we talk about setting an intention, you understand that that is the very first part of manifesting. You have to have the awareness of what do you want? You know, where is your thought process in the manifesting of it? The important thing to realize, though, as you do that thought, you might think, oh, I want $1 million. Okay, whatever your thought process is, look at it. Look at, are you coming from an ego point of view with wanting that? Or are you coming from a soul point of view? Is it going to serve your soul growth for whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest? And there is absolutely nothing wrong at all with wanting $1 million. Nothing. That would be awesome, amazing, wonderful. Think of all the great things. And I've heard so many people in my life that I've worked with in coaching that say, you know, I don't feel like I can have that, because wouldn't that be wrong to have that much money? And I'm like, no. And then they're like, well, I could do so much with it. So it's, what is your motivation? Is your motivation coming from ego? Look at what I've got. Look at what I manifested. Look at what I did. I bought this huge house, and look at how pretty it is. And that's great. And I celebrate every win that everybody has. I know that just because you have that big house, it's not taking anything away from me. I can also manifest whatever I want, whether I want that big house, a boat, whatever it is. We all have the same ability to have whatever we want. The way to get there, that avenue to get to it, is to examine our motivation. Why do we want that? What's it going to do for us? How's it going to help us in our life? So if you're just solely looking at the materialistic, whatever you're manifesting in the ego, then yeah, you might get it. You know, it's possible that it's going to come to you. And a lot of people do, like what Michele was talking about earlier. You know, you may see somebody that you don't think is worthy of that. That's a judgment.
That's right.
But we all do that. We all judge. That's our human bodies, our human thinking.
Right.
But everybody is deserving. We're all equally deserving of having what we want. Examine the motivation. That's what I'm putting into this part of it, is to really get you to start thinking, what is it that you do want? What do you want to bring to you? But not just what do you want, but why do you want that? And really look at that. Take some time to do the deep dive and ask yourself, why is this on my intention list?
Mm-hmm.
Don't just
Right.
make the list, but why is that
Why?
particular thing on my intention list? It's
Mhm.
important to think about.
Right. I so agree. And it's always good to ask yourself why 3 to 5 times. Answer it differently. Okay. So why do I, as an example, having to do with maybe somebody wants to lose weight. And I don't like to say lose weight. Maybe we could change it to, why does somebody want to, well, I don't like the word lose, but you could say reduce or change their body or whatever. What is the reason you want to do that? Why? Is it because you want to look better? Do you want to look better to you? Do you want to look better to somebody else? Do you want to be healthy? What are the reasons? Keep asking yourself why you want what you want. Maybe you want a Mercedes. Why do you want a, what is it about a Mercedes? What does that represent to you? So it's not really maybe the Mercedes, but it is what it represents to you. And again, so this is a lot of what we're going to go into on Saturday's class and take more of a deep dive into that, because it is really important. It's vital to become aware of what you're doing every day on a consistent basis. It's really important to figure out your whys. And this stuff sometimes is, it takes a little bit of thinking about it and diving deep and going into it to figure it out. But when you start doing that, when you start pulling those threads out, I guess it's like a ball of yarn. When you start unraveling it, you'll get to the core. And that's a big aha moment, and it can change your life. I know it has changed my life in so many ways, and yours as well, Teri. So that's really essential. So the second thing that we wanted to talk about too briefly is what are you doing? I'm going to take a quantum leap and assume that everybody on this call does intentions. Is that true? Does everybody on the call do affirmations, or do they do intentions?
Let's see. I do intentions. I'm raising my hand.
Yeah, I do. Anybody else?
There we go. Awesome.
You can either raise your hand or type it or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, every
Yeah.
day.
Every day. Yeah. Great.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. So, in talking about doing affirmations, for me, what I have found is really powerful is where you do your intentions and what your intention space is like, and why is that important. So if we've gotten this far, if we believe in the law of attraction, if we believe that we create this atmosphere that we can attract abundance, then I think it's not a quantum leap to say, well, then you must believe in energy in all things. So with that in mind, where you do your intentions, you are imprinting that space with your energy. So that sounds great. Okay, that's wonderful. But here's the other thing. You want your intention space to be something that lifts you up. It's really not a great idea to do intentions in a place that is full of electrical equipment. Maybe many of you have heard that. It's really good to do an intention space that's kind of clear of any type of electric, whatever, like a TV or whatever it is, even the computer. And if you can't do it in any place else, then cover them, put like a heavy blanket or something like that over them. The other thing that I wanted to just mention briefly, and again, we'll go into this in more detail, you want to do your intentions where when there's negative ions in the air. So an example of negative ions is if you're near a waterfall or you're near any type of running water. That's why in feng shui, it's so good to have a running water as soon as you go into your front door, you know, a water fountain, something like that. Because negative ions in the air, who doesn't feel great after like a summer shower, you know, there's something clean smelling about it and there's something that's uplifting. So that's really important too. And again, we'll talk more about what other things you can do and geometric activity in space and how that affects our intentions. So I think you wanted to add something to that too as well, didn't you, Teri?
Certainly do. And I'm going to put us back on gallery view so we can see everybody. I think what Michele just shared with us is so very important. Our environment makes a huge difference on our mental state, on our emotional state, and on manifesting. So we're going to do something right now. If you're comfortable doing this, if you want to remain seated. But if you can stand up, I want all of us to stand up if you can. I'm going to try to see if I can do that and still be on the camera. Maybe. Okay. Okay. So what I want you to do is feel the energy in the room. Is everybody familiar with feeling energy? You can feel the energy around you, just kind of wave, nod, whatever. Okay. So I want you to feel the energy in your room. Just put your hands out, see what's happening, see how that energy is feeling. See how your body is feeling in response to the energy in your room. So just feel into it. Pay attention to it. Those of you in the virtual audience, I want you doing this as well. Let's all participate. Okay. So you felt that energy, right? You know what it feels like in your room right now. Okay. I'm going to sit back down because it's hard for me to get in the camera where you can see me.
Okay, Gail raised her hand. I'm not sure if she wanted to talk or.
All right, we're going to share after. I want you to keep in mind what the energy felt like. Okay, everybody got that in your head, what it felt like to feel that energy in the room? So now we're going to connect. And that connection is going to happen on the soul level. So you can either place your hand on your heart or just close your eyes and feel into where I'm taking us. And where we're going is connecting the heart and the brain, first of all. So I want you to breathe in deeply and release that back out so your body relaxes. Now breathe in again, slowly and deeply. And start bringing in a memory, a thought of something that makes you feel so good inside. Maybe it was a warm hug, the last one that you received. Maybe it was a walk on a beach. Maybe it was a sunset or just being out in nature, looking at the beautiful snowfall that's happening right now. Just continue to breathe in and connect the heart and the brain, feeding the brain that positive energy. And as you continue to do that, I want to invite the angels to surround you where you are in your room and where I am in my room. And I'm going to call them in from their directions, calling in from the east, Archangel Raphael. Raphael will bring in the energy of air. So if you feel a freshness or a breeze go by you, That's this angel bringing in healing energy. From the south, we call in Archangel Michael, our protector angel. And Michael comes in with the energy of fire and clears away anything that's not needed, and also puts a bubble of protection around you for all of those low vibrations to stay away. And then from the west, we call in Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel comes in with the energy of water, clearing and cleansing and giving us so much clarity and understanding. It's really important to call on Gabriel when we're manifesting and setting intentions. And then we go to the north and we call in Uriel. Uriel comes in with the element of earth. And right now, he's helping each one of us to ground into that earth energy, becoming very centered, very balanced, feeling our energy shift and change as we become stronger in who we are. Thank you, angels. Now I want you to see your energy field start to expand out with the help of these angels. As you breathe in again, feel your energy field going out from you into the room, pushing away anything that doesn't need to be there, loving it away, just allowing the love to fill up the room. Now I'm going to ask you again, and you can stand up or you can sit down. How is the energy in your room now? Do you notice any shift? Did anything change? And let's talk about that. If anyone would like to share, just let me know. And Gail, I know you had raised your hand. Would you like to share first? I don't see her. There she is. Okay, you have to unmute yourself, honey.
My apartment is always clear of energy, and I just did 4 hours of theta healing class today, so I'm really good. And I had, what did I do? Yeah. So I've been fine.
Okay.
I've been fine. Thank you for asking them.
Thank you for sharing. Would anyone else like to share?
Well, I will. How's that?
Okay.
It was, thank you for doing that. That was unexpected. And I loved that because it really brought everything. I felt like everything came together and kind of settled down a little bit. And I felt a lot of blue, baby blue energy around me, and almost like clouds as well, but happy clouds, nothing, like enveloping me in a really positive way. And I guess that was really, really a great example to add on to exactly what I was talking about, creating that type of energetic environment when you're doing your intentions. Because what we're talking about here tonight is anybody could take pictures and cut them out and say, oh, I like that. I want that, and put it on a board. And that's great. And maybe you'll have some success with that. But if you really, really are serious about changing some things in your life, and you really are committed to bringing abundance on all levels, it's more than just pasting pictures on a poster board. But we need that visual too. It all works synergistically, right? So
Absolutely. And this is
wow.
This is one tool. Yeah,
Our
this is
ears
one
are
tool
ringing.
Oh, awesome. But this is a very important tool that you can have with you at all times. And it's so important to clear that energy. Michelle's already talked about that. We're going to talk more in depth about that when we do the actual workshop. But when you have that space, just think about when you do spring cleaning and all the dust has been removed and floors have been swept and everything is just so immaculate. How does that make you feel? Doesn't it just make you go, ah, you can relax. And when your body is relaxed and your mind is relaxed, that's when the miracles happen. That's when you're not fighting anything or forcing anything.
And that is really another important, because it leads me into talking just for a moment about our ego, and which you brought up before about where are you creating from, an ego level or a soul level. And I just want everyone to really get this and hear this. I know the ego gets a bad rap, but I talk to my ego a lot. Oh, okay. Brooke Woodside said the energy feels a lot lighter. Wow. Okay. That's good. That's good to hear. So imagine your ego. I'm not going to go into a whole Course in Miracles dialogue about, the ego and its place, but I will tell you this. The ego walks around with a big measuring stick, right? And it walks around and goes, okay, I'm better than Teri. I'm worse than Teri. The ego is never, ever, ever satisfied with what is. The ego doesn't understand that. It only operates out of comparison. When you feel that everything is just all right with the world and peaceful, that's your spirit and your soul talking to you. That's not your ego. So I don't mean that you should fire your ego, because it's not going anyplace, but you could have a talk with it in a loving way. This is what I do. And but you can do anything you want, obviously. But I have said to my ego, look, I appreciate the fact that you are trying in your world and your way to protect me, but I am doing things a little bit differently now. So I appreciate your work, but you can take a rest. You don't have to be involved. I know you meant well, but I got it from here. And that, believe it or not, you could talk to your ego any way you want, but for me, that really works in order for me to embrace just being okay with things and not having to constantly measure. And the other thing that you brought up, Teri, which I think was really important, is there is enough for everyone. And even though we hear that, I think we have to do a lot of work on getting it, because I think the natural response for especially heart-centered people, and I have a feeling that those are the people that are on here tonight, or consciously, let's put it that way, because everybody's on a spiritual journey as far as I'm concerned, but some are more conscious of it and some aren't. But when you're on a conscious spiritual journey, you understand, these concepts. And for us, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, but if I win that and you don't, I'm going to feel bad. Everybody has pretty much the same opportunity to co-create in their life a different experience. And it does take challenges. And I just realized by what I said probably leads into a lot of other questions, which we could answer on Saturday. But know this, you're having everything that you want will not in any way take anything away from anybody else. And I am interested to see if everybody agrees with that. How do they feel about that? Or how does that feel when you say, oh, I won the lottery, or I got this incredible gift or abundance that came to me? Do you have a thought I feel bad for my friend. I feel bad for this other person. Does that creep in? Because that doesn't support your bringing abundance into your life. I just read, oh, it's kind of new to me. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk more about that too. So does that make sense?
It does. And I'd like to just see if anybody has any comments about that. If your best friend won the lottery, would you be able to just celebrate? Or would you have that thought, why her and not me? You know, does the ego kick in, or are you able to celebrate the win? And when you're focused enough to know what Michele just said, there's enough for us all. Just because she won the lottery doesn't mean that I don't have that same opportunity.
Right.
Or just because she got a new car doesn't mean that there's nothing wrong with my car, but could I get a new car too? You know, it's like, where are you coming from? It deep inside of you. So would you be able to celebrate? That's the question. Let's see, you in your reactions, you have a thumbs up and you have a thumbs down. So would you be able to celebrate with your friend or your neighbor? You know, somebody
Yes.
that
Said yes.
I see yeses.
Yes.
I see yes in our audience. And Stacy says, if I win, I will share. If someone else wins, I will be happy for them.
That's beautiful. And believe me, even if your ego snuck in there, that's okay. You can say to your ego, okay, let's have a conversation about this. You really can. Okay, so I sometimes feel bad when I went, oh, wow. That's from Brooke.
Didn't see the rest of it. I just saw a little.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, well, that is, again, to go back to what I said about the ego, that's what the ego does. That's the ego talking, that's all. And these are ideas and beliefs, and we'll talk about that I call tribal, because everybody's in some type of tribe, and that's tribal beliefs. So you have to break out of that, because remember, what we're talking about here tonight is turning all your jets on. And it's not just, again, getting aboard, doing affirmations, setting intentions. It's more than that. You have to transcend, and this was really the third tip. You have to transcend this physical reality. So everybody might be saying, what? What do you mean? Do I have to learn how to astrally travel? What do you mean transcend this? Do I have to die to do this? No, because I will tell you that we all step into what Lynn McTaggart calls the 0 point field, the quantum field, what I have called over and over again, the miracle zone, when I've done, my You're Living Miraculously work and workshops. You have to transcend that. And guess what? You all do it. And many times you do it unconsciously. And sometimes, God bless you, consciously. I mean, I have done it unconsciously. I've done it consciously. And I have a lot of miracle stories to share, but I'm just going to share one little one. So I was at a friend's house, and this was a funny story. But before that, I do want to say, I like to watch Lottery Dream House, because houses seem to be my superpower as far as creating, which again, I'll share on Saturday. But I'm watching Lottery Dream House, and there's been a number of people on there who have said, these numbers came to me. Now, how does that happen? Do you think they're all lying? I don't believe that, because I can tell you personally, I was staying at a friend's house one day, and I got a phone call at 3:28 in the morning. Don't ask, it wasn't anything bad, but it was strange. But I woke up, and when you're in that place between sleep and being awake, that beautiful in between transcendent environment where you're not fully awake, but you're not fully asleep. And that's a great place to intend. So I looked at my phone when the call came in and it said 328. Something in my head spoke to me and said, the first thing wasn't who's calling me, it was play those numbers. And I thought, what? Play those numbers. So the next morning, I got up and I was telling my friend about it. And we were going out that day, traipsing all over the place. And I said, yeah, I should really play those numbers. I don't know why, but I guess I should. And so the day went by. I didn't really think about it anymore. And before the end of the day, she said to me, do you want to stop and play those numbers? And I said, no, let's just go home. And she said, you know what? If you don't play them and they can't come in, you're going to kick yourself. Well, guess what? I played them that day. I boxed it. They came in. So, I mean, how the hell does, excuse me, but how do those things happen? But when you spend a lot of time being in tune with, what did I win? I won, it wasn't a tremendous amount. It was like $85 or $95 or, some. Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all, but maybe it was a little more. And another time something like that happened and it was a much bigger win. I won $800. But, so when those things happen, you have to, at least from my perspective, you have to say something's going on here. Every time I get a phone call, and never since then and never before did I ever say, I've got to play those numbers. There is something going on in the quantum field, and we're just scratching the surface on how to step into it. But believe me, we're starting to do a damn good job at it. I know it. When we get all of these steps, when we start aligning ourselves with certain steps and we're consistent and committed to it, I promise you, your life will change. I promise. So that was about, again, the third tip was about transcending this physical reality, which I don't want that to sound scary. So anyway, what do you think about that, Teri?
I think that's pretty awesome, Michele. And yes, transcending for me it's getting out of that ego mindset. It's saying, you know what? There is something much bigger than me in the picture here. And so I'd like to share just briefly, because we want to give people time to interact with us and ask questions.
Okay. Yes.
So many of you who do follow the journey that I'm on are probably aware of this already. You probably heard me talk about it. But I was given this message to start a journey, to get rid of everything I own, basically, and get in the car and go. And the angels would guide me where I needed to be at all times. Well, I happened to have an older car. You had seen my car, Michele, and it had mileage on it. So I thought, angels, I'm not going to get very far in this vehicle. It's just not going to get that job done that you want done. So what do you want me to do? And I had woke up one morning and I heard, and it was the morning before I was supposed to leave Florida, and I heard, go buy a vehicle. And I heard it so clearly. And I'm like, no, there's a thought. That would be great if I had good credit, if I had the down payment right. If all of those things were in place, my ego immediately started negating it and saying, that's not possible. That's out of the question. And it kept being persistent. It kept saying, go buy a vehicle. So sure enough, I went on the internet to see what was close to me. I hadn't looked at cars in so many years. And I'm like, okay, that one looks good. Let me, connect with them. I ended up getting pre-approved immediately online to buy a vehicle. And I thought, well, that's a miracle right there. And so I set an appointment. I went down to the showroom and sat down with the salesperson, told him what I needed. And he points to one outside in the showroom and he goes, like that one. And I said, yeah, like that one. That would be good. And he knew what my budget was. He knew what I was pre-approved for. So he takes me for a test drive and I pull it out of the parking lot. It's got 9 miles on it.
Oh, wow.
And I looked over at him and I go, this is a new car, isn't it? And he goes, oh, yeah. And I said, you know what I'm approved for. And I don't think that will get me this. And I said, let's just go back to the showroom and thank you for your time. And he's going, oh, no, just wait. Let's just look at it. Let's just run the numbers. And I'm like, I'm still fighting, Michele. My ego is still like, this can happen. And so eventually the angels just had him be so persistent that I was like, okay, let's get it over with, see what you can do. And about 15 minutes later, I was signing the paperwork with the vehicle that I am in, running around the country, already 28,000 miles in it. And it happened like that. It was so just perfect in the way that it played out. But if I hadn't listened to that nudge, if I hadn't listened to what they said, if I kept fighting, if I kept saying that's not possible, it wouldn't have happened. We have to transcend our egos. We have to stop that immediate, no, that can't be. No, that's not possible. We have to go above that and listen when we get those nudges. There are miracle stories after miracle stories of people that have that intuitive thought. And, I read a book recently. We have a book club and we studied this book by Mel Robbins. It's called The 5-Second Rule. And in that 5-second rule, you have that thought. There's something you need to do. There's a thought that there's something that's going to happen and you need to pay attention and go take care of it. If you don't do it within that 5 seconds after you have that intuitive thought, it's probably not going to happen. So the 5-second rule is to count. When you have the thought, immediately count back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and act. Do it right then. Because if you procrastinate and go beyond that, you're going to squirrel. Something else is going to show up. So that's one of the things we'll talk about more in the class, in the workshop.
Yeah, that is really interesting as well, because I like this. Deirdre, it's lightning in a bottle. I love it. I love it. So there are a number of steps to get you into that place of being a master manifester. Now, here's a caveat. Does this mean that every single thing, you're going to get every single thing in your life that you want exactly the way? No. But I will tell you this, absolutely, from my own life and watching other lives like Teri's and other people who practice certain steps, that you can definitely up-level your life in such a way where it feels miraculous. I know that. Relationships in my life have healed. I have attracted material things that I really wanted. I've had opportunities come to me out of the blue. So when you get all your jets turned on, and just briefly, some of the things we're going to talk about besides meditating, become an interior and exterior archaeologist, learn about loving yourself, learn about gratitude and forgiveness, non-judgment, non-attachment, affirming, visualizing, practicing the principle of outflowing, and powering up in your space. These are all of the steps that we really want to dig into so that you can become a master manifester in your life. So the vision board as important as it is, and it is important, and in fact, I'll probably show mine on Saturday. I look at mine every single morning, and I have a really crazy, interesting story to tell about something on my vision board that did happen, but how it happened. So it's all of these things, but we can do it. If I could do it, anybody can do it. I know that for a fact. And you will find that not only will you bring some wonderful things to you and experiences, but you will feel much happier, much more peaceful, much more joyful. And instead of going in the direction of, I'll be happy when, you'll be happy now as much as a human being can, because we know that we have our ups and downs. And I don't want anyone to have this idea that, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to be floating on a cloud every single day. Well, of course you're not. But those down times are going to be a lot less frequent, and you'll be able to pull yourself out of them. So this isn't just about a vision board, right? This is creating a life that you love.
Absolutely. And, as we were creating this masterclass, Michele and I had met several times, and we were talking about these 3 secrets, these 3 tips and tools we wanted to share. And I had a vision that popped into my head. The vision board that you will create if you join us in the workshop, I saw that as like a springboard, and you standing on the very edge of that vision board and ready to jump off into whatever it is that you're creating. Let that vision board be important, because it's holding you up, and it's also catapulting you forward, because with all of the things we're going to be talking about and teaching, and the energy shift that's going to happen, this is really going to be a way to move you forward to your big dreams. We're calling it the Dream Big Vision Board Workshop, and we want you to dream big, and we want you to allow the energy of that vision board you create to move you into the direction you want to go with it.
I love that, Teri, because that's really what this is all about for everyone and for ourselves. I know that I get so much out of it whenever I do a workshop. I know you as well. When you do your own workshops, don't we benefit from it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, when you teach, you learn. That's
exactly. And something I didn't mention, but from a numerological perspective, which is one of the reasons I really wanted to do this now, which I shared with Teri, is the energy for this year numerologically is a 6. And without going into a lot of detail now, but I will talk about it a little bit more on Saturday, that is like an attraction number. When you're under the vibration of a 6, whether it's in your personal year, or now we have this universal year of a 6, 2 + 2 + 2, it is a vibration that you can more easily attract what you want. And that's why I was so anxious, that little tornado in me. I want to get this out here now. I want to start this now. So, okay. And I think, okay, we want to talk to some people, and then we have a free gift for people too, don't we? A couple of them for everybody who stayed on.
Stacy's with us in the audience, and she said, this is so powerful, and I'm having many light bulb moments. I love that. I hope you all have aha moments as we're teaching, as we're discussing. And yes, I do want to put us back on gallery view. And you've heard us talk about that workshop. It's happening on a master number day, right, Michele? On the 22nd.
Yes.
We're doing like this today. One on the 11th, and then the class itself is on the 22nd.
Right.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Sharon. The workshop information. So I have all of your emails because you registered for this. And I'll be sending you an email with that link for you to sign up. And I also discovered something today that's going to make it really easy. And it's a QR code. Are you all familiar with the QR codes? You just turn your camera on your phone and you put it up to it, and it's going to bring a link up for you to just press. It takes you right to the registration form. So it's going to be really easy if you're able to do that and use your phone to scan it. But we'll share the link, and we hope that all of you will be able to be there, because I hope you've gotten excited about what you've experienced here today. And I'd love to ask and open it up for anybody to get more clarity, or if you have a question about manifesting. Let's bring in some of the audience. Oh, I see Deirdre dancing away and raising her hand.
Okay, unmute yourself.
Okay. First of all, I am blown away by you, Michele. I've never listened to you speak before. And like, you have so much to offer. I mean,
thank you.
It's just, I'm excited about something for the first time in a very long time. You know, I feel like everything that you said just fit in a certain place in here.
Wow.
And it was like a moment where everything kind of came together. And so, I mean, I see a lot of promise with this whole thing and the whole opportunity. It's just like a party going on inside, man. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank you.
I love that.
Wow.
And Deirdre, I'm so glad that you are going to be there for the workshop on the 22nd. You're already registered.
You were all talking about ego, right? And when we started talking, then I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't have to manifest all the way. I mean, already I'm talking myself down. And you know what I mean? So yeah, I need this.
Yay. Yay. Anybody else like to share something?
Jean.
Okay, Jean. You have to unmute yourself, Jean.
I know that. It's just finding the right place to unmute.
That could be a challenge.
I always want to unmute it on my picture, which isn't the right place to unmute it. But anyway, I really appreciate all the things you've said, and Teri too, especially that you can manifest things. They don't just have to be material.
Right.
That's where I think the secret lost me, is because it all seems so material. And a lot of us are more interested in spiritual than material things. So I really do appreciate that. And I'm very excited.
Yay, Jean. Thank you.
Jean is registered. She will be there at the workshop.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, Brooke, you have something to say you'd like to share?
I do. Yes. Hello, everyone. So I got a little lost in my note taking for the 3 steps. I got a little confused between 2 and 3. Do you mind just running through them real quick? A recap?
Not at all. Let me just pull them up again. Okay, so the first one was you need to have an acute awareness of what you are consistently doing. Where is your energy going? What are you putting out there that is either moving you forward or holding you back? So that was the first tip. And then the second one was, why is creating a sacred space to do your intentions so important? And how do ionizers or geometric activity affect your intentions? So what are negative ions, and how does that affect you? And the third one was, how do you transcend this experience of physical reality? How crazy does that sound? But how do you do that? How do you transcend this experience of physical reality in order to access that 0 point field, that field of all possibilities? So those were the 3 tips.
Wonderful.
And again, we're going to go more into that in detail on Saturday.
Right on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ricky, I believe you are registered, right, for the workshop?
I am. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm excited. I felt really scattered and unclear about my intentions, my goals, my dreams. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity to realign and get a little more focused. So
Thank
much
you.
appreciated.
Well,
Really. So
we
grateful for you
appreciate
guys.
we appreciate you as well, every one of you, because we say it over and over again, but it's not just a nice thing to say. It happens to be true. We're in this together as we witness by what is happening in this world. We are in it together. And if you want to change the world, we got to change ourselves. So even though this vision board is about your own personal wishes and desires, and hopefully what we impart to you is how important it is to be more peaceful and joyful. And that's a big part of this vision board workshop. But when you do that, you are affecting the world, your energy. So it's not just about us, even though we're talking about how we can manifest. In that place of manifestation and peace and joy, we are affecting the world, and we're bringing more joy and peace to the world. And I know that that means something. And I think all of you probably agree with that. I hope you do. I hope you do.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to share anything, or ask a question?
Just want to ask, Blue, is that my gizmo that you're holding? I thought it was.
That's what I was just going to say. Gizmo has had so much to say. He's been quite talkative with you, Teri. So yes, so that was Gizmo. So, and he knows all about it. He's told me all sorts of things, and he's like ran around at me, and he's got the girls here. Everybody's here. Hockey bought you a toy. They heard Brookie's voice, they bounced. So
I manifested this lady into my life, and she's been a real blessing to me. So
chaos.
Oh well, sometimes.
Tons for chaos. Very chaos, I guess. So yeah. I'm pretty good at manifesting the physical things. Like we manifested this place. We built this place from the ground. I always wanted to live behind a ferry gate, and when we looked at the property, if there was a ferry gate there, the first thing I said over 30 years ago is, hey, this is a ferry gate. We have to live here, and we do. So, of course, little did I know then what I know now about what that really means, but that's another branch.
Cool.
So it's that, but it's some of the other stuff, I guess, I'm having problems with. When I manifest stuff, it drops like a ton of bricks on me. It doesn't necessarily come gently. I think to get my attention, I can get messages or things for other people, but for myself, it's like, the cartoons where the Roadrunner drops the boulder.
The anvil. Yeah, the anvil comes down.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens to me. It's like, so I need to learn how to do that gracefully, and have it unfold instead of being dropped like an anvil, because that's what happens. And then
So, and I guess this is more of a coaching question, but so if I'm understanding you, are these things though that you wanted that drop on you like an anvil?
Yes.
Okay. And you would rather it not drop on you like an anvil?
Right. I would rather it open gracefully, but my funster friends and so forth, they've told me that they feel the only way they can get my attention is by dropping anvils on me. I don't know how else to say it. So,
okay. Would you like to change that?
Yeah. So that's why I'm looking forward to the vision board on an Ascension platform to see how to be able to make this work in a more graceful way. So yeah. Yes.
I get that.
And blue is a tornado, so I can see why they drop things on you. But we're going to, in that workshop, we're going to specifically talk about how our thoughts become things and our words. So yeah, so I'm so glad you're going to be there. Let's get you manifesting in an ease and grace way.
Yay.
Can I show you guys? I was ready for this. I thought we were going to be doing the work, but something I've been doing is instead of vision boards, is doing vision boxes. And I go to Total Wine and get cigar boxes and put what I want on the outside and then anything else on the inside. So would it be okay if I showed y'all?
Yes.
Of course. Yes.
I want to see.
So this one in particular is, I'm going to get married at some point this year. Miss Michele told me in June. So this is my relationship with Mike. And where did I get these images? Believe it or not, at Whole Foods and the cards. They have the best cards at Whole Foods.
Wow.
And also Barnes and Noble. So that's where I got that. I'm not finished it. But I thought we were going to actually do something tonight. So that's where I was at.
Dale, that is great. That is so cool.
And then you have all this room inside. I'm like, oh, I'm going to put this in there. I'm going to put that in there. And I've been doing it for the last couple of years. And I think at Total Wine or any cigar shop, they're like $3 for a really nice box.
I love boxes.
That is
awesome.
such a cool idea. I love that. Really.
So it's not just linear. It's you can put other stuff in it or heart or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So thank you for letting me share.
No, well, thank you for that. I think we could even briefly talk about that. Well, you're not going to be on the workshop though, right?
I won't be in town. But a box in a way is sort of cool because you can put other stuff in it, instead of, am I looking for linear? And I've done this for a number of years. I'll set the intention. I'll go into Michael's or I'll go into Barnes and Noble. Like, this is the image I'm looking for rather than do online stuff. And I'll give you, so I know we want to go on a cruise. So I went to Michael's and got those. And then this was a marriage thing. And I mean, not that expensive. And then it just really sets the intention, number one, but it also shows the image.
Wow. Cool. So do you mind if we just share a little bit about that on Saturday?
No, please use that information because it really saves people a lot of time. And, like, oh, I want this. Oh, what's it going to look like? So if you can walk into Michael's or a store such as that and go, oh, that's the one I want. Remember one year I was looking for angels. I couldn't freaking find angels at Michael's. I'm like, why are there no angels? It's Christmas. There should be angels. And finally saw some. But Whole Foods really does have the coolest cards in the world.
They do have cool cards.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I'm glad you brought up what you did. Is thinking outside the box.
Yes.
But also on Saturday, we can talk about making vision cards. Mm-hmm. Which I do, and you can use like the extra large blank index cards. Mm-hmm. Do the same thing you would do on a big poster board, and put on the back of the card, you have room to write, and you can write
Yes.
affirmations.
Well,
you can write
and the other
specific.
thing is if you have a lot of stuff, which I usually do, I'll show you what I've done in the past is get the art book from from Michael's, and just whatever the images are from a magazine, and I just for whatever reason I was inspired, and they end up going in the book. And every year I like to remember to look at it. I don't always.
Wow.
So I have 2 of these, which I've done for the last number of years. But you and I know one little board is like, I have so many other things I want to do.
Well, like the cards as
I'll
well.
show you before I go to Gino.
cards is a
I
good
think
idea.
Kathleen, didn't you have your hand up that you wanted to say something before?
We had
or
Kathleen, Linda, and Jean all want to talk.
okay.
First of all, thank you, Teri and Michele.
You're welcome. I hope you can use the ideas. I mean, yeah, they're great.
Everybody can do this.
I give full permission.
I have 2 vision boards. My whole kitchen door is a vision board, and I have one in my office. And I'm looking forward to making another one because it work. So thank you for doing this.
Oh, wow. I love hearing from other
The whole
people.
door.
with
I hadn't thought of a door.
ideas.
That's a good idea.
Wow.
You're signed up, I believe, for that on the 22nd, right? Yeah, and I did put the link. I put the link in the chat box as well as in the audience virtually. You have the link to sign up.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So,
Linda.
Yeah, I wanted to say hello, and Gail and Kathleen have come up with 2 great examples of what I was going to say, which is we have all manifested each other.
Good point. Thank you for sharing.
For some reason. And some of you I know very well, and some of you I don't. And it's like I haven't met Gail before, and she's given us some great ideas. So I think we've all come together to share and to learn from each other. So thank you all for being here.
Thank
you're welcome. Nice to meet
Linda.
you.
Thank you.
Well,
Good to see you, Linda. Love you.
Thank you.
oh,
We got Teri's car vision board.
Oh, okay.
Jean Lorio.
I had the vision board also, and it had a house but my focus was on spiritual things, and that's the only thing that's really come true. But I'm so glad because that was the most important thing on my vision board. But hearing Gail talk, it just gave me the idea. I used to have my students do a manila folder on their life, and they would put pictures and stuff from their life and then write important things inside, like a book.
That's nice.
Kind of.
Yeah.
We could do a vision board on a folder like that, and
I hadn't thought about the folder idea. That's a great idea. How old are your students?
Well, they were around 12, 13, 6th graders, 7th graders.
It's a great thing to do with kids. I mean, they really like doing it.
They loved it. Yeah. And usually the principals are okay with it, but anymore, you never know. Unless you're testing, they don't like you doing creative things. But they came out beautiful, and you could stand it if you wanted to see it all the time. You could stand the folder up on your drawers or something.
I would think their parents loved it too. They saw
the parents loved it. It's only the principals who, if you're not working on the tests for their, records by the end of the year, they're upset. I hate to say that.
They don't have art classes
so
anymore.
negative, but it's true. The art of teaching has kind of changed.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it is.
We've only got a few minutes left. I'd like to see if anybody else that hasn't spoken would like to share. Sharon, I'm so glad you're here with us today.
I am too. Hi, everybody. Linda,
Hello.
Deirdre. Kathleen, I just wanted to thank you again for your meditation with Teri. I listened to it like 4 or 5 times already, so thank you. um, Michele, lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for your time and your information and your joy and free stuff. But whatever it is, but I feel like I've gotten a whole lot already. And Teri, you know you're in my heart, sweetheart. And thank you for listening to your nudging and inviting me today, because this was really needed. Just recovering from a little cold. And I always pay attention to numbers, even though I don't know the in-depth thing, Michele. And I knew that this year was a 6, but I did not know 6 was an attraction year. I view 6 more as family and, community and gathering.
It is that too, Sharon. You do know your numbers. It is that too.
Oh, okay. So, but now with the attraction, I'm just like, okie dokie. Let's see how far it can go.
I know. Yes. I was really excited, for myself as well. And I said, we've got to get this out there. So what are the free gifts, Teri? You want to share those free gifts?
Yeah, I just want to see, if Grace Isis, did you want to say anything? We haven't heard from you. And then we're going to share that information.
I'm just pleased to be here, and thank you for the space that has been created by each and every soul. Thank you, and I'm on a learning journey. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. So we do have a free gift for you, and it's going to come to you via your email. And I do have all your emails because that's how you got here. You got the Zoom link. One part that's really fun with doing vision boarding and doing manifesting and setting intentions is using crystals. Anybody here use crystals and the energy of crystals? I don't even want you to raise your hand, Blue. You are the crystal. You are a crystal.
Okay. So
what we have to give to you is, let me share my screen and I will just show you. And this is coming to you in email. Okay, I look like I'm lost because I'm trying to get that off of my screen so I can share the screen. Here we go.
I am surrounded with crystals, but I have no idea what any of them mean,
Well, not only will you get these lovely templates for making a crystal grid.
Wow. Nice.
Different shapes. These are printable. You can print them out. Can you see them as I scroll?
It'd be good if I had a print.
You see the different shapes and all of that. So you're going to get these templates. And then you're also going to get a write-up about how to do a crystal grid and what it is and how important it is to bring in the energy of manifesting.
Oh.
And you'll tell which crystals to use?
Well, that we can talk about at the workshop. Okay. And we'll talk about crystals and their energy, and I'll have some that we can do show and tell. And I used to do crystal grids all the time to manifest. If I was holding any type of circle, I would put the crystal grid right in the middle of the room and activate it just before the circle began. So we can talk about that some more. I'm giving you a whole write-up about crystal grids, about the importance of them, what it means to bring in that energy through the crystal grid. And I think this is going to help. And we'll talk about it some more at the actual workshop, but it'll help you to bring that energy forward. We talked earlier about the energy in your room. These crystal grids are going to make a huge difference in what the energy is bringing to you in your room. So that's your freebie that we're giving to you. And then more instruction to come if you're attending on the 22nd.
Thank you.
And what about the challenge?
Yes, Michele.
The
Look at
30
you.
day-
You let me forget.
It's,
Oh, you
on a
did
roll.
let me forget. Sorry. Okay. So in addition to the workshop that we're holding, which is extremely inexpensive, I might add. The price you just, when we set the price, we were thinking about master numbers, and the price is only $22. And that is a master number, so that this has a lot of good energy with it. But in addition to that, we are doing a 30-day manifestation challenge. And there will be something every day from us, every day. So if we want you to be a part of that, that's a freebie we're going to offer as well, to do that, to participate in that and get more inundated in the energy of manifesting. This is, we call this the year of the angels. We, meaning our peas in the pod that Michele mentioned earlier. We've dubbed it the year of the angels, and they're very prolific this year. They're helping us all to understand energy a little better, and especially how they work with us. I know we're going to wrap it up, but I want to share this particular message. And it's like a little combination of the 4 agreements and some other things. Okay, don't know what that was. Make no assumptions. Speak your truth. Always be open to possibilities, miracles, and magic, and put forth 100% to manifest everything you wish for that fits in your divine plan. I think this wraps up. This wraps up our intention for this workshop, which brings me to the point of, I want you to start thinking about your intentions. What is it that you want to get from the workshop? What is it that you want to bring forth in your life? Go ahead and start thinking about it now. You've got 11 days until we're going to gather together and actually build vision boards and do some more discussion. Go ahead and put that thought process together to start bringing in and letting the angels guide you as well. What is it that you actually want to intend as you meet with us on the 22nd? And we go further and deeper into bringing out more possibilities, and put 100% effort into it means, okay, I'm all in. I'm going to do this. I'm making a commitment, and watch out, because miracles do happen. Believe in miracles and in magic. Right, Michele?
Yes.
I absolutely believe in the miracles and the magic. And I'm so glad that Teri had brought up about the 30-day challenge, because I will tell you something else that's essential that I don't know if everybody mentions this or knows this, but having support and bringing about your intentions is really, really important as well. I belong to an intention group that's been going on for 3 years, and I can tell you that it's pretty amazing. In fact, the really short story, because I know we're going a little bit over, my daughter was diagnosed with an acute acoustic neuroma. Now, that can be very serious or not be very serious. It really depends. Doctors sometimes say, just leave it alone if it's not causing a problem. And so that was a diagnosis. They didn't do anything about it. I intended with my group, and again, having support consistently builds this energy and this connection with one another. So my intention was that I went for the gold. I went for, it just disappeared. And that is, like my daughter looked at me and said, "Really, Mom?" And I said, "That's what we're intending for you." So guess what happened, right? 6 months later, they wanted to do a follow-up MRI. which they did. And they were like, okay, wait a minute. There's nothing there. And so, the interesting thing is, and again, I understand coming from a medical background, medical field, I get how these things, what the thought process is. And the doctor said, well, I don't think it was there to begin with. So really?
Deny.
I mean, it really is laughable. I just looked at my daughter and she said, well, what do you think it was? I said, no, Alicia, of course it was there. You had 3 different doctors verifying that that was there. And now it's gone. And that is something that, professionals in the medical field has a really, I'm not blaming them or anything, but they have a hard time wrapping their head around that it could be here and now it's gone. So somebody made a mistake, right? All 3 tests were, inaccurate, and somebody read it wrong, whatever. So I thought that, that's another miracle that happened. And I bring that up not only to demonstrate that miracles happen all the time, but I have this very strong support group. And that's why I think the offer of the 30-day challenge, which came from Teri, is pretty phenomenal. And it's free. There's no charge for this, by the way. It's free. And I think that's so essential too. So again, what do we want to do? We want to get all our jets fired up and going and be in that state of bliss and joy and peace as often as we could. And these are the ways we do that. The 30-day challenge is a beautiful gift. Thank you, Teri, for that.
Absolutely. And I'm just reading some of your intentions. I love that. My intention for this year is to hear or see a miracle each day. And thank you for sharing. How beautiful. It doesn't get any better than that, does it?
No, I don't think so.
And Gracie, I think Gracie left, she had to go, but thank you all for being here today. What a blessing to sit with you.
My intention
Thank you,
is to
Teri and Michele.
You're welcome.
Thank you all. Nice meeting everybody.
So again, the link is there. It's in the chat. It's in the online, and it will be sent to you in an email. And I'd love to see all of you there. And let's just have fun together. A friend of mine used to tell me every day, Teri, life should be fun. While we're here having this human experience, just lighten up and have fun with it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to have fun, aren't we, Michele?
Yeah, we are.
Thank you, Miss Angel.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for being here. So much love to all of you.
Thank you.
And
bye-bye.
We love you.
Bye.
Love you too, Teri.
Hey, everyone. Bye.
Namaste, y'all.